Recently, the Supreme Leader of Iran made an unacceptable comment about minorities in India, after which India officially gave a strong response to Iran. The Supreme Leader, who is the most powerful person in Iran, tweeted about the global suffering of Muslims. In doing so, he unnecessarily grouped India with Gaza and Myanmar. Now, you must know that for many years, Muslims in Gaza have faced a severe humanitarian crisis due to the Israel Palestine conflict. In the ongoing Israel Hamas war, more than 40,000 Palestinians have lost their lives. Are Muslims suffering in this way in India? Absolutely not. So, what was the need to group India with Gaza? Due to the conflict in Gaza, even essential items like food, water, medicine, and electricity are unavailable. Many homes have been destroyed in the war. Thousands of people have been displaced, and people live in fear and psychological trauma with the risk of losing their lives in a missile strike at any time. Palestinians are in such a dire situation. Are Muslims facing such problems in India? Not at all. Therefore, it absolutely makes no sense to group India with Gaza.
Let us also look at the case of Myanmar. You must have heard about the Rohingya crisis there. Rohingya Muslims are a minority in Myanmar, primarily living in the Rakhine state. They have been facing systemic discrimination for years. Regular reports emerge about their torture and the violence against them. There are also reports of persecution by the Myanmar government and military. Despite living in Myanmar for several generations, they are not recognized as citizens. The Rohingyas have become stateless due to the denial of citizenship rights, which deprives them all state benefits. To escape violence and persecution, hundreds of thousands of Rohingya Muslims have fled from Myanmar and are living in refugee camps in neighboring Bangladesh. Currently, more than 900,000 Rohingyas are living in Cox's Bazar district of Bangladesh, a number so large that Cox's Bazar is now one of the largest refugee settlements in the world. All international bodies, including the United Nations, have accused Myanmar of human rights violations and against Rohingya Muslims. The situation is this bad. Now tell me, how misinformed is it to group India with Gaza and Myanmar?
This is why India's Ministry of External Affairs has taken a strong stand and officially condemned the statements of Iran's Supreme Leader. It has expressed its disapproval in clear and strong terms. The ministry has also stated that before commenting on India, Iran should first look at its own track record. Let me explain what this means. The Islamic Republic of Iran is a Muslim majority country with a total population of around 90 million. Currently, the number of Muslims living in India is more than twice the total population of Iran. Look at the Muslim population growth page on Wikipedia. What is the fastest growing religion in India? Islam. Now, if Islam is the fastest growing religion in a Hindu majority country, it is clear there is no systemic discrimination against Muslims. In countries where there is systemic discrimination against minorities, their population decreases rather than increases. For example, in Pakistan, the number of Hindus, who are a minority, has been continuously decreasing over the years. In India, there is no systemic discrimination against any one religion. People of every religion benefit from India's economic growth and government schemes.
Look, we are not saying that no Muslim in India has ever faced any problems or that everything is absolutely perfect. We are not saying that. What we are saying is that allegations suggesting only Muslims are being selectively targeted or that only Muslims are suffering are not correct. No doubt, at times, the law and order situation deteriorates and horrific incidents like mob lynching occur. At times, we witness inter-religious clashes and hatred being spread against one another's religion. We are not denying this. Unfortunately, such cases do happen. However, picking these isolated cases and claiming that only Muslims are being selectively targeted is wrong. Just as there are cases where crimes have been committed against Muslims, there are also cases where crimes have been committed by Muslims. There are good and bad people in every society. We have to accept this. Not all people of any one religion are good, and not all are bad. Good and bad people exist in every community. Tell me, is there even one country where everything is absolutely perfect, where law and order is maintained 100% of the time, where there is no discrimination, no crime, no problems? Is there any such country? No, there isn't. Every country has its own set of problems that need to be addressed. Similarly, India has its own issues, and there is a lot of room for improvement in many areas. But it is wrong to spread the narrative that only Muslims are suffering in India.
Well, this did not happen in India, but in Iran, where a 22-year-old Muslim woman lost her life due to the brutality of Iran's religious morality police. She was beaten badly because she was not wearing a hijab. A Muslim woman was just for this in a Muslim majority country. Following her, there were widespread protests against the Iranian government, which were brutally suppressed. You can read about the Mahsa Amini protests. Even today, Muslims in Iran are protesting against the Iranian regime's mandatory hijab law. So, Iran should first look at its own track record where Muslim women need to protest even for their basic rights. If a woman wants to wear a hijab of her own free will, then there is no problem. It is her choice and her right. But if the government dictates what she should wear or how she should cover her body, isn't it depriving her of a basic right, the freedom to choose her clothing? The Supreme Leader of Iran stated in his tweet that if Muslims are suffering anywhere, we should pay attention to them. So, why not start with the Muslim women who are suffering in Iran? Once that is addressed, then they can move on to the discrimination faced by Sunni Muslims, who are a minority in Iran, in religious, social, and political spheres.
Iran is a Shia majority country, and its political system is dominated by Shia clerics and officials. As a result, Sunni Muslims face political marginalization there. It is a fact that Sunni Muslims in Iran have to endure many religious restrictions. Despite their repeated requests, not a single Sunni mosque has been built in Iran's capital, Tehran. There are also severe restrictions on establishing Sunni religious institutions in other parts of Iran. Incidents of strict government control, surveillance, and cultural suppression against Sunnis in Iran are well documented. Iranian Sunnis are also Muslims, and they too have rights. So Iran should address this first, shouldn't it? Moreover, if persecution against Muslims anywhere needs to be addressed, then let's turn to China. In the Xinjiang region, reports of severe human rights abuses and persecution of Uyghur Muslims by the Chinese government keep emerging. In China, these Muslims are forced to give up their religious beliefs and are told they should only pledge loyalty to the Chinese Communist Party.
They are arbitrarily detained in camps and face forced labor, torture, and abuse. They cannot grow a beard or wear hijab of their own free will. Mosques are destroyed by the Chinese Communist Party, and any Islamic symbol is not spared. Uyghur Muslims are not even allowed to practice their own language and culture. They are forced to adopt Mandarin and Han Chinese culture. They endure many other kinds of atrocities in China. If Iran's focus is on the suffering of Muslims everywhere, then why not China? The Supreme Leader of Iran has criticized India many times before. He also condemned the abrogation of Article 370 in 2019. This came after India restricted oil imports from Iran due to the reimposition of US sanctions, which displeased Iran. So, Iran unnecessarily raised the issue of minorities in India. But what about the horrific treatment of Uyghur Muslims in China? To this day, Iran has not spoken about it, not even once. Why? Because it does not want to anger China. China is set to invest $400 billion in Iran's economy over the next 25 years, which will significantly benefit Iran's oil and gas industry. So, when China commits atrocities against Muslims, Iran conveniently remains silent. This implies that when foreign direct investment is at stake, there is no need to talk about the Muslim Ummah. Iran is clearly prioritizing its economy over the idea of global Muslim unity.
However, if Iran dreams of becoming the leader of the Muslim world, it must stand up for the rights of Muslims wherever there is discrimination or oppression. This then becomes an obligation. Selectively and randomly naming one country while remaining completely silent about another will not work. Because let's be honest, why does the Iranian regime talk about the mistreatment of Muslims? To strengthen its political standing in the country. The Muslim majority in Iran is united through the common cause of Muslim rights. The regime needs their support to increase its political influence. Now, if the Iranian regime is genuinely concerned about discrimination against Muslims, it should address it everywhere, not selectively. It must advocate for Muslim rights only when this is truly a priority, rather than demanding justice for Muslims in some places, while remaining silent where there is a fear of economic loss. Moreover, Iran needs to stop the oppression of Muslim women and Muslim minorities within its own borders. Iran cannot become the leader of the Muslim world without genuinely caring about Muslim rights.
Honestly, there was absolutely no need for this outrageous statement by Iran. Iran should avoid actions like this. It should speak about better treatment for Muslims only when it is genuinely concerned about them. Do not use Muslim suffering as a diplomatic tool. Do not talk about Muslim suffering abroad to distract your public from internal issues. Just because you are close to developing nuclear weapons and need the support of the Muslim world, do not talk about injustice against Muslims solely for this purpose. Your proxy, Hamas, attacked Israel, after which Israel retaliated, and India supported Israel's right to defend itself. So, do not raise the issue of minority suffering in India out of anger. Speak about Muslim suffering only when you are genuinely concerned about it. Decide what is more important, political interests or religious duty. Do not mix the two, because people will eventually realize the truth. In the end, I will say that building good relations with India will benefit Iran. That is why Iran should refrain from unnecessarily provoking India.